Hey, Brixel! So there we were, my minions and I, ready to soak in every detail of the Elder Scrolls Online's High Isle preview stream. We were determined in our mission to bring you guys all the information that you needed. But as the stream ended, we collectively realized there wasn't that much new to talk about. Now, yes, I could have just made a video about Tales of Tribute, because really that was like 90% of the stream. But the thing is, if I'm going to be perfectly frank and make a prediction, the vast majority of ESO players are going to try it out for like half an hour, be mildly entertained, and then never touch it again. That's just what happens with systems like this. But look, Tales of Tribute does look like fun, and it's clear that the devs put a lot of work into it, so I earnestly hope to be proven wrong here. Okay, so we assumed that Tales of Tribute would be the highlight of the announcement, but we didn't know that there would be almost nothing else to talk about. So rather this week, while we are going to talk about the information that was shared, what I really want to talk about is how I think the lack of content announced on the stream speaks volumes about the Elder Scrolls Online. But do you know what else speaks volumes? I do, in this super slick segue. Ding the thing if you haven't already. We release new MMO content every dang week, as well as regular streams right here on YouTube. Big love to our patrons, and with that, let's get to it. So, what did we learn about High Isle? Well, for one thing, we got more confirmation that High Isle and the Sisters Archipelago look incredible. I'd be comfortable in saying that these environments are the prettiest the design team have ever created. And while we're giving the art team some head pats, the architecture and armor sets look pretty damn sick. Look, you can call me a basic bitch or whatever, but I love me some feudal medieval settings in my RPGs. Knights? Hell yes. Tourneys? Hell yes. Maidens fair locked away in faraway castles, but on your travels to rescue her, you realize your true love has been with you all along. Your squire, Esteban. Well, I mean, that's what the RP community's there for, so hell yes. They also dropped some more information about the new companion characters, Isabel and Ember. I personally was Team Isabel all the way, but after hearing more about them, I don't know, I think I could see Ember tagging along with my cat daddy. And besides companions, there was also mention of the return of fan-favorite characters like Zaji and Jakarn, who we hope get more important roles in the narrative. Now, on top of character information, we also got to hear more about the goings-on in High Isle itself, the political climate, the seedy mysteries, and of course, the Ascended Order. I'll admit, I'm pretty excited to play the story. Say what you will about ZOS, they very rarely put a foot wrong when it comes to storytelling. Sure, they may stumble at times, but at the end of the day, I can generally trust them to tell a pretty dope story. But let's just stop here for a second. While this all sounds pretty good, let's just remember that we've all been excited for beautiful games that promise an epic narrative only to be smacked in the face by a hastily thrown together baggage. So I'm not breathing a sigh of relief just yet. Yes, High Isle may look beautiful, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to what we actually do there. Now, you'll notice that while ZOS has spent a lot of time telling us where we're going to be doing things and who we're going to be doing things with, or to, they were suspiciously quiet about any new gameplay systems. And I'm pretty sure most of you know exactly why. They're not talking about any new gameplay systems because there isn't anything new to talk about. So it's no surprise that out of an hour-and-a-half stream, over an hour of it was dedicated to Tales of Tribute. I mean, Blackwood brought us companions, and while that's not a massive addition to the game, it's definitely an addition I'd argue is more substantial than this. And look, let's be fair, they might be holding back a massive gameplay announcement to mic drop just before launch, and if that is the case, I guess their marketing team is either really bad, or I mean, maybe really good. The bottom line is that Tales of Tribute is this expansion's big gameplay addition. That's it. And yeah, I hear the Sims in the comments saying, but Brixel, the game is already so full of content, what else do you want? And sure, I agree, the game doesn't need new systems, which is why I say they should spend a year fine-tuning the systems they already have, rather than wasting precious developer resources on something the game honestly doesn't really need. Now, brace yourself because I'm about to share another opinion here that you might not agree with. ESO has a lot of systems that, while they may be fun, when you start digging into them, they aren't particularly deep. So here's a suggestion. Maybe spend time expanding on these already existing systems before you add Gwent. I mean, imagine if this chapter was just about updating already existing content. Sure, some people would be pissed, but I'd say there'd be a far more positive overall response to that than this. But okay, credit where credit is due. ZOS are always tweaking and improving the game. I really appreciate the new build changes in Update 33, for example. Plus, it's clear from what they said in the stream that they took player feedback into consideration when designing Isabel and Ember, so I'm definitely not saying that nothing is being done. But we also have to be realistic. One of the primary goals of new expansions is attracting new players, and slapping improved PvP stability or all new animations on the box art ain't gonna do that. Tales of Tribute, however, just might. So, okay, fine. Since ZOS was so adamant in giving Tales of Tribute its rather extended 15 minutes of fame, I think it would be in bad faith for me not to actually talk about the lumbering elephant in the room. I do think it has an interesting premise, being a deck building game in the truest sense, meaning that the game is basically about who can build the best deck by the end of the game. Both players choose 2 of their personal decks at the beginning of a game, and then the 4 total decks are shuffled into one giant common deck. Both players then draw from this shared deck for the rest of the game. And look, here's where I have to admit something. You know what happens when you've been dealing with tedious and bad faith mechanics in games for the last decade? You get a little cynical. So we were genuinely confused. How are they going to over-monetize a card game when players are drawing from the same deck? I mean, the noob you're playing against could easily draw your super rare card first. We couldn't figure it out. It's a collectible card game. The monetization has to be somewhere. But here's the bottom line. Either ZOS is sneakily hiding the fun-killing monetization angle, or it isn't there. So again, we have to give ZOS credit where credit is due. I'm truly impressed that in the year of our Lord 2022, it seems that they're releasing a card game including a ranked competitive mode and leaderboards without making it pay to win. I genuinely didn't think that was possible, not in an era where loot boxes and pay-to-win mechanics basically dangle off every new release like fat, grotesque ticks. But it's a good idea to stay skeptical in this sort of industry. Do we think the Tales of Tribute will never touch the Crown Store? Honestly, I personally doubt it. It would be so easy for ZOS to release interchangeable card backs, playmats, or any number of cosmetic items. And it would be just as easy to slip some new cards, decks, and patrons into the Crown Store somewhere down the line. It would be really easy. But please, ZOS, it would be even easier not to. But that's enough opinions for one day, so I'll pass the mic off to you guys. What do you think of everything we saw in the preview? You excited? Concerned? Ready to roleplay Geralt ignoring the main plot entirely, letting the world burn as you play cards? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below and we can talk about it. Sub if you haven't already. We have new MMO content coming out every week, as well as regular streams right here on YouTube. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and if you really like it, maybe consider becoming a patron. A big shout out to our patrons, and a special shout out to our Guardian tier patrons, Anthony Hodson and Liam Pullis. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Brixel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.